Sophie. Maya.
All right, I'm Robin. Nice to meet you. So, first question is, what do you think about animals in general?
They're good. They're good. Cool. Yeah.
You like animals? Great. Second question, a little harder. What do you think about animal abuse and people who abuse animals?
Not good. It shouldn't happen.
Great. Good answer there. It's pretty bad. Next question, a little bit harder. What do you think about the animals that we send to slaughterhouse to get their heads cut off when we could just eat plants instead?
I think in part like we overuse it. Like I think if we managed it better in a way of like not overusing them, like producing so much meat, it would be more environmentally friendly.
Well, what? Not here to talk about the environment, but what about the animals? Is there a good number of killing?
Um, I it kind of depends. Like for certain animals, if we didn't like manage it, they would become like in overabundance.
You think they would go overpopulate the world if we just stop breeding them into existence?
It like depends though. It's complicated. I
Because
think
they wouldn't exist if we didn't force breed them.
yeah, but it also depends because some of them will breed on their own. Like that's how the animals got here in the first place.
Like you mean like natural animals, in the wild?
Yeah.
You think they're overpopulating?
Well, it depends on the type of animal. Because if
But
you look at like bugs, some bugs will like become in abundance if there's not another animal that eats them. Like I think we should kind of let the food chain be a bit more natural.
yes, I don't think that what we do is anywhere near the food chain. I think it's simply like manipulating nature to the grossest way possible. Um, but let's say that we could find a way that we didn't overpopulate the world, and we could just stop breeding those animals to kill them. Uh, what would be the reason to stop to not kill animals?
Um, well, I mean, we can survive technically without them. I think in part, if you look at though, I think as humans we don't entirely need meat, but there are animals like dogs having pets that are dogs. A lot of animals will be killed to be put into dog food. Not in the same way of humans, of course, but a lot of animals, like a lot of animal byproducts, is put into dog food. So in certain ways, like we do need to keep killing them to keep.
I can show you a lot of vegan dogs and cats.
Um, cats cannot be vegan.
The fourth oldest dog in the world was vegan. He lived up to 24 years old, I believe. And there are special formulas that you can make for cats that just require the nutrients. You just have to regularly check on them. But what's in the meat can be replicated in lab.
I've read certain studies though that do say that it's not healthy for animals. I personally have two cats, and also like they will go out and kill their own animals if you're not giving them meat. Like, and also my cats are extremely picky, so they won't eat stuff that's not meat.
Well, I will agree to disagree with the cat thing, but before I even ask you to change your cat to vegan, what would stop you from going vegan?
It's just like it's really hard to
Yeah.
maintain, especially
What
like
is?
being vegan is it can be super expensive sometimes, and like if you're a student, it's really hard to like afford that.
There was a Oxford University study done in a recent year that showed that a vegan plant-based diet is actually 30% cheaper because all of the staple food in the markets are all the cheapest by default and vegan, which is rice, pasta, potatoes, beans, lentils, quinoa. All of this are the cheapest food by default, and they're all vegan.
For me personally, like going vegan isn't good for my health. Like I have a lot of issues with needing supplements for things, and
I don't need supplements.
okay, but I have a lot of issues with like needing extra iron, and I've tried taking iron pills, and it's not enough.
Do you know where iron come from?
Well, you get it from meat a lot, and I know you can get it.
It's a mineral, so it comes from the ground.
Yeah.
And then there's like a lot of iron in like spinach, broccoli, and stuff like that. Like meat has nothing like magical as nutrient that you can't get from plant. And then the World Nutritionists, the World's Association of Nutrition and the Dietary Association of America all agree that a plant-based diet is healthy for all stages of life. Do you think that they're wrong for that?
Yes and no. I think I agree that we overuse the meat industry. Like we need to be less in producing it. I don't necessarily think it's possible to fully stop it.
Why not?
Well, you're never going to convince everybody.
No, what about you?
I have actually been eating a lot less meat in the recent years than I did growing up, but I definitely I don't eat enough vegan stuff, which I know that's like a personal thing, but I don't eat enough to get my proper nutrition in.
I know we talk a lot about the nutrition aspect right now, but I think that animal abuse is an injustice. Would you think that it is?
It is, and the meat industry definitely abuses animals more than it's necessary. There's a
Well,
lot.
if we were to talk about any other injustice, would you say that you would have to like be less racist or be less sexist? Would you say just don't be racist and don't be sexist?
I would say that, yeah.
So like when you say like reduce your meat consumption, it's pretty much just say like abuse animal less.
No,
Well, that's pretty much what it means.
but it's not necessarily like abusing animals. Like there's a lot of companies that are in the meat industry that aren't actually being abusive to their animals.
How could you kill an animal without being abusive to it?
Well, if an animal is injured and it's not going to live, would you kill it?
Well, yeah, well, that's euthanasia. I would do the same with a human, but we're talking about like needlessly killing them by like 80 billions of them. Actually, 3 trillion animals every year are being killed for food consumption. 3 trillion.
I think it's a different story though, like because if a lot of animals would be overpopulated if it wasn't for the meat industry, and a lot of animals in general.
What if humans are overpopulated? Should we kill them?
It's a different story. I know it sounds bad to say that, but it is a different story.
How so?
I feel like there's a fine line. Like there is a way to kill animals and eat meat that's good for the environment. Like you can have your own.
Is it good for
farm.
the animals though?
I mean, if it's a natural farm, like if it's your homegrown farm, it's your own.
What is a
farm,
good way to kill someone who don't want to die?
It's just food. Like I don't know.
It's just food. You're made of meat. What if I would just say like, oh, humans are just food? Is it okay to just kill humans?
I mean, that's like that's like two different,
How?
because you're not killing humans and eating them. That's illegal.
Well, legality and morality are two different things. Like it used to be legal to own slave, it would still be immoral.
Yeah, but like all I'm saying is that like if you have your own farm and you eat like whatever, like your cows that you make on the farm or whatever.
Still have to kill that cow.
Yeah, but like you're not doing anything wrong.
Killing is not wrong.
There's a lot of farms that I've heard, like, because my mom knew a lot of people that grew up on farms because she grew up in like the prairies, and a lot of them, it would be the end of the animal's life cycle, and then they would kill them. I know that's
So they
not
would
the-
wait like 25 to 30 years old and feed them for all that time, and then when the animal naturally dies,
not necessarily naturally, but if it was obviously like coming to its end, like when an animal slows and is like in pain.
yeah, I wouldn't have any problem with that. But that's definitely not the world we live in.
No, but I think there are ways to definitely manage it and lessen it. I think right now you're not going to necessarily change our opinion and stance on this. We've obviously all done a lot of research into this over the years, especially for school. And I think that right now, this is not going to change our opinion.
So you're not against animal abuse?
I'm against animal abuse. I'm not necessarily against ending the entire meat industry.
So as long as you give your money to the industry who cause animal abuse, you will be physically supporting animal abuse with your money.
Not necessarily, because I try and buy like as much like free range type of eggs and stuff like that. Like I'm not
Free range eggs is just a marketing to make you feel better, but all of these chickens that they lay eggs into free range would just mean there's no cage. They're all still packed in together. They all come from a breeder that for each of these chickens that are born, only female lay eggs. For it all born 50-50 male and female. Males don't lay eggs. They all end up into a blender, macerated alive in their first day of life. You think that's ethical?
I think that like you just have to accept that like some people the lifestyle doesn't work and some people it does. Just because like some people don't like it doesn't mean they're bad people. Like we're not bad people. We wouldn't abuse an animal, but just because we eat meat, it doesn't mean we're bad people.
I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm just saying that maybe you're maybe just misinformed. But as long as you do give your money to industries that do abuse animals, you will support this.
Okay. I
What if
mean,
you don't have the option? Like those are.
Do you live?
Brands are like care about animals, not carbon.
Well, do you guys want to keep on going, or should I just respond to these guys?
I have one more question now. If you think about people who are homeless, very often the only meals they can afford are from McDonald's and to get a burger, and that's the only way they get nutrients. How do you feel about that?
I don't go interview homeless people.
maybe you should.
Yeah, get
Why?
your opinions on it, because it's a different like
People too.
we have the option.
Yeah,
to
but I
avoid-
try to
Are you saying you
talk
don't
to
care
people.
about their
No,
opinion?
I'm trying to ask people who do have the options. Not try to impose like a diet or like a lifestyle on people who do not have the option of doing it.
then
It's
do
like,
you-
why would I go to like Nunavut and ask Inuit people to stop eating fish when it's the only way to survive? I'm not here to tell people to just stop living.
But
If
do you
it's your
consider that animal abuse, because that's still killing an animal that's
like
not done with its
accepting it for some
lifestyle.
people, but not accepting it for
Yeah.
some.
Well, if they do have the option to go to a food bank and then have food that is not made from animal abuse, that would be great. But if they have to do it to survive, I don't think it's right, but I think it's justified.
There.
So you're
That's
not
okay.
ending the meat industry. That's what you're saying. That's the point you've come to. Because if some people need it to survive, you're not ending the meat industry.
Well, as long as people who do have the option to eat something else don't eat something else, that will never end the animal industry. And then if we, the people who actually have the much like the knowledge and the means to do it, we do go all vegan, then those industry will cease to exist, and those poor people will have access to actual real food.
But will that raise like that would still not necessarily make it affordable for them to live?
Well, actually, I got a very good counter argument against that. Because it takes so much land and water to produce feed to feed all the animals that are given to all of those rich people that are rich enough to buy meat, it leaves about 500 million humans to starve to death because all of their grain from their country are fed to the animals that you guys eat. Do you guys think their life or not don't matter, and then you think that your taste pleasure is more worthy than them having food at all?
That is not like what we're saying here. We agree that to like lower the meat industry. Like I do think it's overused and overrun, like I've said multiple times. I just think like the argument it doesn't fully work. Like it doesn't. And I like there's so many counter arguments to that, and there's not like one easy answer to something like this. And for a lot of people, like you mentioned, it is cultural to eat meat.
Yeah, it was cultural to own slaves. That made it make it okay.
No, but that's not entirely.
It's
That
two
wasn't
different things.
because
You're
of
saying
It's a
religion.
it's a
That's
cultural.
completely different.
All I'm saying is the cultural
Owning slaves
argument
and
is.
eating meat is
All I'm
not
saying is the
same.
cultural argument does not hold, because what's cultural doesn't mean it's moral or good.
Okay, but there's this difference because
What?
owning slaves was never like God told us to own slaves.
Yeah.
That's never
God?
what it was.
Are you talking about a man-made like imaginary friend up in the
Comparing
sky?
apples and oranges.
Okay.
Like this stuff doesn't make sense,
If-
bro.
Literally,
It's like
if you also
being
you believe
racist
so
and
strongly
eating
in this, like you have to respect other people's beliefs too.
Well, I can respect your belief to believe anything you want, but you can also respect my right to laugh at all these beliefs.
Okay,
I think we're done.
have a good day.
Yeah.
Great. Have a good day. Bye.